It's strange how life can feel like a calm pond one moment, and then, without warning, someone throws in a stone that sends ripples in every direction. For me, that stone was a confession, unexpected, raw, and from someone I never imagined could be the source of such turmoil. My name is Emily Carter, 42 years old, living in a small, peaceful town in Oregon with my husband, Thomas. We had been married for 18 years. To most people, our marriage looked steady. Two people who'd built a comfortable life, shared a modest home with a garden out back, and had Sunday routines involving pancakes and the local farmer's market. We weren't flashy, but we were solid. Or, at least I thought so. The story begins on a rainy Thursday. I had just finished setting down a basket of fresh laundry in the living room when the doorbell rang. Standing there was Daniel Brooks, 27 years old, tall, polite, and the son of our neighbors who had moved back into town recently. He was helping his parents while job hunting after leaving the city. Daniel had been around occasionally, mowing lawns for older residents, helping carry groceries for my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Hargrove. He was the kind of young man you'd describe as respectful and well-mannered. That afternoon, he was holding a sealed envelope. "Mrs. Carter, hi," he said, a little awkward. Could I talk to you for a few minutes? In private." I hesitated. Thomas wasn't home. He was working late, and something about Daniel's expression made me curious. I invited him in. We sat in the living room, the soft patter of rain against the windows filling the silence. He fidgeted with the envelope, finally sliding it across the coffee table toward me. "This might sound strange," he began, "but I needed to tell you something because keeping it in feels wrong." I opened the envelope and found a handwritten letter. The words were careful but intense. Daniel was confessing that he had developed deep feelings for me over the past few months. He wrote about admiring my kindness, the way I helped people in the neighborhood, the smile I offered him when I thanked him for fixing Mrs. Hargrove's fence. It wasn't crude or inappropriate, just honest, heartfelt, and unsettling. I looked up at him, stunned. "Daniel, you're very young and I'm married. This is a lot." "I know," he said quickly. "I'm not expecting anything. I just couldn't keep it inside. I'm sorry if this makes things awkward." It did make things awkward. For the rest of the day, my mind kept circling back to that moment. The letter sat on the coffee table, a quiet weight in the room. When Thomas came home, I didn't tell him right away. Not because I wanted to hide it, but because I didn't know how to explain it without making it sound bigger than it was. For the next week, every time I stepped outside, I wondered if I'd run into Daniel. And I did, once at the grocery store, once while watering the front garden. Each time, he was polite but distant, as if he was giving me space. But something had shifted inside me. Not romantic interest, no. It was more like a crack in a wall I thought was impenetrable. The letter made me reflect on my marriage. When was the last time Thomas had looked at me with the same admiration Daniel described? Had our life become so routine that we'd forgotten to see each other? Finally, I decided to tell Thomas. We were sitting at the dinner table when I placed the letter in front of him. His eyebrows knit together as he read. He didn't speak for a long time, and I could see the flicker of surprise, then unease in his eyes. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm but firm. "Emily, do you have feelings for him?" "No," I said immediately. But it made me realize something. We've been living side by side, not really seeing each other for a while now. That night, we talked for hours, about the way our relationship had slipped into autopilot, about the times we'd both felt distant but ignored it. There were no raised voices, no accusations, just honesty. In the weeks that followed, Thomas and I made small but deliberate changes. We started cooking together instead of eating separately. We took evening walks, holding hands like we used to. On weekends, we'd drive to the coast or explore nearby hiking trails. As for Daniel, I eventually spoke to him again. I thanked him for his honesty, explained that his letter had been a catalyst, not for anything between us, but for something my marriage needed. He nodded, smiled faintly, and assured me he understood. Months later, he got a job offer in another city and moved away. We haven't spoken since, but sometimes I think about how that rainy Thursday altered the course of my life. not by breaking my marriage, but by waking it up. Some stones don't shatter the pond. They ripple out, reshaping the water in quiet but lasting ways.